If you can no longer have sex the way you used to because of an accident, can you bring that as part of your damages claim in the state of New York? You want to know the answer? Come join me as I share with you this great information. Hi, I'm Jerry Oginski. I'm a New York medical malpractice and personal injury trial lawyer practicing law here in the state of New York. The answer is yes. That's known as a loss of consortium claim. Now that's simply a fancy legal term that basically says, as a result of your accident or medical malpractice, the injuries you suffered are now preventing you from doing those activities with your spouse like you used to be able to do. You are no longer as intimate with your spouse and have difficulty doing those activities such as having sex. And as a result of someone else's carelessness, you now suffered all of these physical injuries as well as your inability to have sex on a regular basis like you used to. Now, here's something remarkable. Once you bring that type of claim, the defense will then have an opportunity to question you during your pretrial testimony, known as a deposition. And during the course of this question and answer session, the defense attorney is going to ask you some really uncomfortable questions. Mrs. Jones, how many times a week did you used to have sex with your husband before this accident? And after the accident, how many times a week are you able to have sex? And then they're going to get even more uncomfortable. Mrs. Jones, do you feel better being on top, or is it better being on the bottom? And if you change positions, are you able to have sex now, or is it better this way? Now, you might be asking yourself, why are they permitted to ask you all these questions, intimate, detailed questions about your sex life? The reality is that if you include as part of your claim that you are no longer able to have sex the way you used to be able to, let's say you had sex 5 times a week, and now you can only have sex once a week, or none. Now they have a right to ask you those questions. But here's something really ironic and really interesting. There is no possible way for the defense attorney to actually confirm any of those intimate details. Well, I will share something very interesting. Over the course of my career, the last 26 years handling these types of cases, I will tell you that I find that the very best defense trial attorneys are ones who focus on this issue in a very subtle and a very distinct way, where the defense turns around and says, Mrs. Jones, I know you brought a claim for loss of consortium. Can you tell me in your own words how your lifestyle has been affected, how your intimate relationship with your spouse has been affected as a result of this accident? And now this allows you, the injured victim, the opportunity to explain to the defense attorney in your own words without getting into too much intimate detail. And I find that those attorneys do a much better job, and it comes across much better at trial in front of a jury, rather than the young, inexperienced defense attorney who turns around and says, Mrs. Jones, how many times a week did you have sex before this accident? And afterwards, how many times a week did you have sex now? And why can't you do it when you're on the bottom? And why can't you do it when you're on the top? And you know, those types of things are a bit crass, even though they're legally entitled to ask those questions. So why do I share this great information with you? This comes up in every single case where you're married and your injuries are preventing you from doing your daily life's activities. You know, I realize you're watching this because you likely have questions or concerns about your own particular matter. Well, if your matter did happen here in the state of New York and you do have legal questions, what I encourage you to do is pick up the phone and call me. I can answer your legal questions. You know, this is something I do every single day, and I'd love to talk to you. You can reach me at 516-487-8207 or by email at jerry, G-E-R-R-Y, @oginski-law.com. That's it for today's quick video. I'm Jerry Oginski. Have a great day.